Thank you all for joining this webinar. I now welcome Priyadashini to give an intro about today's speaker.
Hello everyone, it's my honor to introduce today's speaker, Mr. Ashish Prajapati sir. He is working as a customer solution manager at AWS in London and brings an extensive experience in helping business effectively utilize AWS cloud service. In addition to his role, he is a mentor AWS, authorized instructor, and earned recognition as a best-selling author and top-rated Udemy instructor for his clear top-rated Udemy instructor for his clear and a practical approach to teaching complex and cloud topics. In this session, Ashish sir will provide a valuable and guidance on getting started with AWS. We are proud to have an inform in our webinar today, and I'm confidently that his insight will be highly beneficial. Welcome, Mr. Ashish Prajapati, sir.
Thank you, Priyadashini. That was really nice info, and thanks everyone for joining the session. Please confirm if you can hear me okay. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up in the chat or just respond back or tell me, and then we should be okay to get started. Nice. I'm not sure if you can send messages or not, but if you can, just send a hello in the chat and then we will quickly get started. I'll quickly talk a little bit more about myself. I've been with AWS for around 6 years now, and I've been a technical trainer before, and now I have moved to customer solutions manager as a role. And in my current job, I help customer in getting the most out of AWS. If they move to AWS, what benefit they get, how they can maximize their return, how can they keep their business running for a longer period of time. That's what my job on a day-to-day basis. So I thought, let me share some of those details with also you, so that you can get started with your cloud journey in case you are having any doubts, any confusion. I will try my best to explain these things if required. All right. So this is not like too much of PowerPoint I'm going to help you with today. I would try to give you some practical tips so that you can get the most out of it. Now, I also want to know if I'm hoping that most of you are just beginners into AWS. So I'll keep my messaging and keep my information at that level. But if you have any specific question which you are having any difficulty in understanding, you need some advice or something, feel free to reach out on my LinkedIn profile. I would be happy to get connected with you and help you as much as I can in my own capacity. So this is my LinkedIn profile in the chat, and feel free to get in touch if you need it. Okay. Now, as a quick poll, I want to know which city you are joining from. I'm joining from London, and it is around 2:30 p.m. for me right now. Can you tell me which city you are joining from, and we will get started, just as an icebreaker activity. Hyderabad, a nice place. I'm from Chennai. Bangalore, nice place. How is the rain there, Bangalore? Prajwala is from Bangalore. A lot of people. I've been into Bangalore for 2.5 years. I was working for VMware that time. It is back in 2014, I guess. That time, obviously, Bangalore is known for IT companies and the traffic. Hope traffic has been a bit better because of metro now, but still, let's see. FCT Nigeria, nice. Good to have you here. And how about others? I'm seeing a lot of people joining from south of the India, Bengaluru and Chennai. Let's get started and keep your questions coming. I'm looking into the chat on a second monitor. So in case you have any questions, any doubt, put them into chat and I'll try my best to explain it. I'm giving a disclaimer here that I do not know everything. So I may not know every answer you may looking for, but I'll try my best to reach out to people and come back with the answers if I can help you in any case. So feel free to reach out. Okay, now question comes why we want to get started with AWS. What is the benefit? What we are trying to learn? There are so many technologies available into the domains. Why I'm focusing on AWS? What is the advantage we are getting because of it? So I'll give you some value proposition first, and then we'll go into the understanding of how you can get started. First thing is, most of the businesses, if you look around, they are all moving towards cloud. Either they have moved completely to the cloud, or they started their journey, or they are migrating to cloud in a phased basis. So I think there would be only two type of companies in the future who have already migrated to the cloud, and second type of companies who are thinking to migrate to cloud or planning or in their journey to the cloud. So eventually, as running these services on-prem will be very complicated. You may not be able to get the availability, may not be able to get the uptime, performance, and then robustness for your application. Probably most of you and your companies would be moving towards cloud. And if those companies are moving towards cloud, they would need engineer, they would need software developer, they would need operations people, they would need program managers who could manage these environment in cloud. And that's why learning AWS skill can be really helpful for your career. I'm hoping most of you are early career starters, so this could be a nice skill to have on your resume when companies are shortlisting. If you already knew about services, you already knew about cloud, probably it would be less training time for you, and that's why you may be a good candidate to fit into the roles companies are offering. So any shape or form, cloud is always present. Right now we are connected over Google. Obviously Google has also their cloud presence. All these services are being delivered. So I see a better future for lots of services and component which will be in cloud available. So let's go ahead and see how we can get started. Now the challenge with getting started is that there are so much information. You just type a word AWS on Google and you will find n number of options available. There will be training, there would be blog posts, there would be webinars, there would be Udemy training, there would be books available, there would be blog post available. So there can be lots and lots of information which you may feel confused about. So that's my job today, to help you out that how you can easily get started. And I'm not going to recommend you a lot of paid resources. I'll try to show you some of the free resources so that you can get started faster without burning your pocket and still can learn the skills which we need it for. All right. Everyone with me so far? If you are following along, give me a +1 or just say hi into the chat, and we'll keep moving forward as we go forward. All right, Harsha, Bodam, Naveen, Ma. All right, good. Let's keep on moving forward then. Thank you. Now, how we can get started, because there are so many options available. Somebody would say, go into this training or join that boot camp or go ahead and do this video training and you would be understanding everything. Yes, there are many options, and I'm not saying those are bad, but everyone has their own learning style. Some of us may learn by doing things. Some of us may learn by listening to the thing. Some of us may want to read first and then implement it. Somebody will say, I would directly go into the console and start working on the cloud environment. So I'll try to cater to all type of audience, and let's see how we can get started, what options we have. So I divided my presentation into 3 categories. First is to gain knowledge. Obviously, if you want to learn something, you need to understand the basics and fundamentals. You cannot say, hey, I would be learning I would be going to be a pilot and I will just sit into the cockpit and I can fly the aeroplane. That's not going to happen. You would need to gain the knowledge of aerodynamics, then mechanics, then electronics, then radar and all. And then you may have some understanding that now I may operate some section into aircraft. Same thing here. So we need to first gain the knowledge. Now, gaining knowledge is good, but that knowledge is of no use if I'm not practicing it. So the next thing I need to do is to practice that particular knowledge. So I learned a particular service. I learned about technology, how I can use the technology into real life, or how I can solve the business problem customers are looking into. What kind of new solutions I can create, how I can optimize existing solution if they exist, or if optimizing solution is there, can I make the same solution available into lesser prices with more reliability, with more performance. So that is what you should be doing on your day-to-day basis. So practice is a very important aspect, and how to practice, I'll talk about that too. Third thing is networking. Probably all of you are learning here and you may want to have your job, you want to acquire a job, or you want to set up your own business, or you want to have your own startups being rolled out. But for all that, you would need networking. What you are doing right now, it is also a part of networking. Maybe you did not know me now, but you know me. So you may be reaching out for something, and I may do the same for other people who have joined here. So networking is an important part of whatever you do in your professional journey, whether you are a software developer or you're a student or you're a professional. Networking plays an important role. So I'll talk about those aspects also. So let's get started with first thing, which is about gaining the knowledge. How you can gain knowledge, what are the options available for you to get started. Now, gaining knowledge does not mean that I have to spend so much money and then enroll into a highly paid boot camp or buy the best available book. There are lots and lots of resources available here, and I would start with the free training resources which are available. Now, I may be a little biased toward AWS because I work for AWS and I know the technology and I know the product they have created. So the first thing I would try to explain you about is called AWS Skill Builder. AWS Skill Builder is an online platform and there are tons of free videos available on that. Hopefully everyone can see the screen I'm sharing, and let me share the screen. Let me know when you see it. All right. So three things we'll discuss: gain knowledge, practice, and networking. And right now I am focusing on how I can gain knowledge, what options are available for me. So the first foremost option which I am going to talk about is called free training provided by AWS. So these trainings are available into AWS Skill Builder. Skill Builder is a free platform. There are paid version also on that. You may need it or you may not need it. But to just get started, you could go ahead into AWS Skill Builder, and once you log in, you would be able to find out various resources and various services available here. So it is paid version, so it's $29 for it, but you could go ahead and create a free account also. So I would be just using a free account which I have as being an employee, but you would also have the similar type of methods available to get started with Skill Builder. So what AWS did, that they realized that they cannot train thousands of people or millions of people by doing an instructor-led training where an instructor goes and helps out people to learn. So they created digital version of all these training, and through that you are able to learn lots and lots of products. So like I'm here, and here I'm having a different menu. Your menu can be different, but right now I may want to go ahead and see what courses are available. So let's say I'm selecting this open courses, and now I would be able to search and find out which courses align to my requirement and start learning from there. So let's say I'm onto the screen and I'm looking for just fundamentals. So I could go ahead and search and find fundamentals course and then enroll into that course and then get started with that. Like optimizing foundation model, this is all machine learning based. Then there are more options like digital classroom available. There is an instructor enablement processes are there. Getting started with cloud acquisition. Lots and lots of trainings are available which you can filter and can find all this information. I'm getting a lot of noises, so if anybody having unmuted yourself by mistake, I would request if you could mute yourself. And if your question, obviously unmute, no problem in that. And I see somebody has raised hand also. And if that is for a question, I would request you put that question into chat and I would be happy to answer those questions. So I see Maha and Deepika S and one more have raised hand. So if you have question, put them into chat. Otherwise, just lower the hand so it will not be confusing me while I deliver these presentations. All right. Okay, it's a toggle button. So toggle button, once you click, your hand would be raised and then you can unraise it. That's not a problem. And now I'll wait for a minute if anybody has any question, and then I'll keep moving forward with Skill Builder. Anyone, any questions so far? Now, if you feel that searching is becoming complicated, so then just go for AWS fundamentals and then Skill Builder. Now, that will take me to a specific platform. Like here, I'm going to by AWS Expert Online Cloud Training, Cloud Institute, Machine Learning, Learning Online with AWS Skill Builder Digital Training. So this looks good. I could go ahead and just enroll into this particular program and get started. So you create a free account. If you want a paid account, that is also available. But otherwise, you could be going forward and just utilizing this particular training. A lot of exam preparation, digital trainings are available, and then there are labs and other settings also available on that. So you could go ahead and utilize that. Okay. Now, this is one of the resource. What are other resources available for me to get started? What can I do? Second resource I would recommend is to get started is something what we refer as event. AWS ensure that people are aware about the product they are offering or aware about the technology they offer. So they run lot and lot of free event which you can join. Most of them are online, but there are some events which happen in person also. So if you are into bigger cities like Hyderabad, Chennai, Bengaluru, obviously there would be a lot of events happening from AWS on a yearly basis or a monthly basis. So you could leverage those events to learn about it. Now I would highlight here AWS event. Give me a minute. I'll bring up that page so that you can bookmark it also in case you want to learn. So here is the page for getting started. Let me bring that up. Training deliveries, and we have free webinars. I'm just highlighting free resources here. These free resources are really a great point to get started. And once you go ahead here and find out, you would be able to select a specific required resource and then learn and enroll into that program. I'm putting a link here so that you can find out. Now, this may have, like here it says there are 93 trainings available or event available right now. You could filter it out and say, hey, I want to run a join a virtual training. Fine. What type of virtual training? I am looking for essential days. Essential days are basically the basic of AWS which is covered. Then there are AWS discovery days. So prompt engineering, cloud practitioner. This is a training I would recommend to anyone who is just getting started into the cloud. 3 to 4 hours of training, and you get to understand all the basic information associated. So it's just a simple form, fill it up, and you would be able to get enrolled into these training. They happen into different time zones. So even if you're working on day basis or you have your classes or your college things are there, you could join a training which is in a different time zone. And here you could see different region and time zone. And then based on that, you could select languages. And then here is one which is fundamental. Decide what you want to learn. Are you a fundamentals person? You want to learn that first. So you could go ahead and learn fundamental. And if you have very specific requirement that I am only interested into machine learning, if there is a training, I would be able to get started on that. So see this, I am interested in machine learning, generative AI essential for this decision maker. This is going to be in December, 1 hour 30 minutes. This one is in November, 1 hour 30 minutes. So I could just enroll into that, and there is no fees for that. It is completely a free program. Apart from that, I would also encourage you to use the same page and look for in-person event. If there is in-person event happening depending on the criteria I have specified, that would be highlighted here also. And in case you have not aware, there is something called AWS user groups. Those user groups are also a good opportunity for you to get started. So community event happen. Community is driven by individual who want to spread the knowledge. So you can find a user group into your region. Let's say I am looking for things in India. I would be able to look for user group in India like Aurangabad, Coimbatore, Delhi, Jaipur, and these people would be running their own event. So you can get started and then connect with them. Let's say I select Hyderabad as a user group. You will probably know that who are the members associated. You can join the group. Let's say they are running on Saturday, September 14th, a Gen AI workshop. So this event has passed, but obviously there would be more event which can come, and you can just be part of that. Should not be an issue. So that is another good way to get started. Another thing you could use is AWS Cloud Clubs. If you are students and if you have your college riding on, you can join AWS Cloud Clubs, which is very specifically designed for students to lead community and then help people understand and gain cloud computing knowledge. So this is also very vibrant community. You will find student lead these program, and there are a lot of event happen around it. So you could find where these programs are running and who are the captain and what they are doing. So you could connect to these people, learn from them, make sure that you are connected to them to know about any event they are hosting. So that can be a great way to get started and learn as much as you can in your cloud environment. So that is where you could leverage free training and you could leverage event which are freely available. So when I said event, I would highlight here that you could use something called your user groups. That is one way of getting started. Second, there are community days which happens. So AWS community days happen, so you could leverage them. And then free online webinars are there. that you can also leverage to get started with. So hopefully this gives you good starting point, and once you understand some basic knowledge, next thing you would be doing will be to start practicing. And I will now focus on some of the practicing options available so that you will not be paying a lot of money but still would be able to practice lots of stuff on your own. Anyone, any question before, any doubts, any confusions? If everything is okay, give me a +1 in the chat and we would keep moving forward. Anyone else? Anyone giving me a +1 in the chat? Are you still following along? Okay. Now, talking about how I would practice, I learned a lot. I understand lots of component, and next thing which I have to do is to practice. If I'm not practicing, I would just have theoretical knowledge. I may be able to pass a certification exam, but when I go into interview, I may not be able to tell them what projects I have completed, what challenges I face. So whatever you have learned, it is really, really important that you practice it. And practicing in cloud is very easy. You do not need to buy a huge hardware or software or licenses. You could just get started by AWS free tier account. So AWS offers a free tier for people to get started and experiment, and anyone can join it. You will just need a credit card. It will not be charged unless you go beyond the free tier. So here is a free tier, and I would be needing an email address, a phone number, and once I am registered, I would get access to the account on which I can perform every single thing in my own on my own capacity. So here I'm on free tier. You could create a free tier account, and what you get three type of free things there. First is something which is 12 months free. So AWS ensure that to learn cloud, you get sufficient credits available. So they give you 750 hours of EC2 machine, which is a compute. Then they give you storage. Then they give you databases to learn from. They give you mobile-based application. They give you some machine learning and AI-based application. So these all services are available into free tier. So I can run a server with Red Hat or SUSE Linux and Windows for up to 750 hours in a month, and I won't be paying a single penny in that case. AWS is always a pay-as-you-go pricing. So whatever you use, that is only you pay-as-you-go pricing. So you do not need to pay just for unnecessary resources. So you launch it, you run it for an hour, it is within free tier, you will not be charged a single penny, and you can still run a lot of stuff. I would say free tier is sufficient enough to practice most of the scenarios, if not all. So most common thing, you want to build a 3-tier app, you want to run a serverless app, you want to perform a machine learning pipeline, you want to perform some basic data analytics, you want to build dashboard, you want to integrate IoT devices. Most of these things you would be able to practice within this free tier account, and you need to just create an account, and once the account is ready, you should be able to perform all these practices. Now, one thing you have to be aware here, that if you are going beyond the free tier, you would be charged. So I would prefer that if I am using this free tier account, I can set up a budget. Budget would inform me if I am going beyond a specific threshold. So this, what you are seeing, is a AWS console by which you can interact and perform all the operation. What I can do here, I could use a service which is called budgets, and within budgets, I could say, hey, tell me if I am going beyond $1, or if I am spending any money, you have to inform me. So I could go ahead and set up budget for my own environment. So my budget currently is $400. I use it for some business purposes, but obviously you could go ahead and create a zero spend budget, and this will inform you. Email will be sent to you in case it has incurred any money. So you can be very cognizant. You can identify any money which is going in, and then you can fix that, remove that resource if you do not need it, and you just be not paying any money to AWS. So that is a good way to get started, which is called AWS free tier. Now, free tier still can incur charges, so be aware. Set up a budget. Ensure that you have also set up your security. So security is done by a service which is called IAM. So in that, I should be able to create a secure account by which I would be logging in, and I would be ensuring that I am setting a strong password. Maybe I'm using multi-factor authentication, so nobody would be able to misuse my account. So that is a good thing to get started. Now, these services which I talked about, some of them will be free for 1 year and some of them will be free for lifetime. So you can leverage those services even if your 1 year account has expired, you could still leverage free tier account, should not be a problem. So that is first good thing to get started, is you're having AWS free tier accounts created on that. What next? Okay, I have account, but what I should do? I have done launching a EC2 machine, I have set up a S3 bucket, I have deployed a small website. What else I should be doing so that I enhance my knowledge? I just don't want to just do basic stuff. I want to do something which is helping businesses or business implementing those type of solution. And in those type of cases, I would recommend that you follow AWS projects. And these are all, you do not need to bookmark all these links, you just search for it and you should be able to get all these things. So let me search for AWS projects. So here is my Google search. I have searched for AWS projects and I'm not going to the sponsored things. I would prefer to go to Amazon Web Services link which says hands-on tutorial for Amazon Web Services. So I have an account, I want to practice now. So what type of practice I could do? Here are my different options available. So these are 98 projects you could choose from, very simple to complicated. Some of the projects you will see that this one is a 20-minute project where you will develop a web app on Nginx server using AWS App Runner. So you follow this instruction and you would be able to build a web application based on whatever is recommended. It is just 20 minutes, and if you are looking for more complicated stuff, that type of projects may be also available here. As you could see, this one is a 60-minute project publishing a .NET application. Then similarly, there can be machine learning based projects, 10 to 20 minutes, 10 minutes. I am picking up small projects here. Now here is a performance improvement for your MySQL database, which may go up to 120 minutes, whereas a EFS backup and restore, it is just a 10-minute project. So you would be able to see that what kind of experience you need to do these projects, how much time it may take, and if there is a cost, how much it may cost you. So it may be costing you less than $1 if you want to practice. What services you will practice? You will practice backup, you will practice Amazon EFS, and similarly, lots and lots of hands-on projects are available. So these projects ensure that you are not just learning theoretical concepts, but you are also learning how the technology is being used into actual production environment. So if I'm a customer, I want to send an email using SES, I want to configure MySQL database, I want to generate machine learning prediction without writing code, how I would do it. So I just select it. It will give me step-by-step instruction. I follow it. So it says what I will be doing, what are my prerequisite, what is the implementation detail. And if you look here, very detailed instructions are given to you, which you can follow. And some projects may give you a cloud formation stack, which will automatically create the required environment. You practice it and you remove the cloud formation. You do not end up paying any money for that. So that's how you could get started with AWS projects, right? So that is one good thing to learn from AWS project. And then some services may have its own projects to get started. Let's say I'm talking about Amazon S3 hands-on. So there may be Amazon has 3 hands-on. So see this thing, simple web service interface, and I could just leverage those things to get started. Hands-on tutorial for Amazon Web Services, I could leverage that. So use that. Another is AWS workshops. If you have done these 10-20 minutes project and you want to go into bigger complicated design scenarios, how I would get started? I could leverage AWS workshop. So workshops are free resource. You would need an AWS account, and within that workshop, you should be able to run a different type of application and different architecture you would be able to implement. So let's say I am looking for something related to AI and ML. So I want to perform generate clinic note with artificial intelligence. Level is 300. There are levels maintained into this workshop. 300 is a higher level, 100 is a basic, 200 level is intermediate, 300 is an advanced level. So probably if you are starting, then you should stay away from 300 because it will be a little complicated. You could look for projects which are having lower things like 200 or 100, like here, Health Scribe workshop. I could go ahead, this will take around 2 hours. I can get started. I would be able to follow all instructions step by step, and once I'm happy, I can then go ahead and remove all the resources which are deployed. So here, detailed instruction, how you will provide audio record processing, how the processing will be done on custom vocabulary, what are the steps required for it, all these detailed, as well as the architectural diagram. So by looking at it now, I can understand, okay, how the logic is working, what components I'm using. Further, you could go ahead and say, okay, let me try to enhance this project. How can I ensure better security? How can I cut down the cost? How I can improve performance? So same project you could keep on enhancing if you want, should not be a problem. So that gives you a base, and from that base you could keep on adding more component on top of it if the need be. So AWS Workshop is the best place to get started. So search for it, workshop.aws, look for the technology you are into, and then look for those specific workshop to get started. So that is the second resource which I included, projects and these. Third comes sandboxes. Now, this is a feature which may be provided by some vendors, and this may be a paid feature you may be looking into. So it's optional, it's not mandatory to use it, but let me explain what a sandbox is. So when I have my own AWS account, what may happen that I may create a resource which can incur charges, or I may forgot to shut it down. So rather than that, we give you a sandbox where you can practice things and then get started from there. So they will be giving you AWS account for 3-4 hours just to practice it. You practice whatever you need it, and then that account will be automatically cleaned, so you do not have to worry about it. Plus, they may give you some instructions also, some labs also which you can follow. So these sandboxes are available from different vendors. I'm not promoting a single vendor. You could check from different places where you want to get it from. Like you could get it from Pluralsight. You could get these things from WizLabs. Then you can get these things from Tutorials Dojo. And then obviously AWS also has Skill Builder, where you will be given a sandbox on which you should be able to practice. So this can be a good way. You pay a few dollars a month and you are not worried about any unnecessary bills or maintaining and managing that environment for longer period or security risk. Your lab will be available for 3-4 hours. After that, it will be decommissioned, removed. You don't have to worry about cleaning and then securing and then paying for all these environment. So that can be a good thing you can leverage. Now, last one here for practicing, I am recommending Skill Builder, but this one here is a paid version of Skill Builder in case you want. Obviously, you could do the same thing here, and here, but if you want to further deepen your learning, you want to go into very complicated scenarios, then you can utilize Skill Builder if you want, should not be an issue. Also, if you are just starting, there is a free game type experience or simulation type experience available, which is Cloud Quest. This is also a nice place to get started. So Cloud Quest is an immersive role-playing simulation. Here you would be going into a game where you would be working as an architect, and they will give you problems to solve. You solve those problems, you earn some point, you take help from others if the need be, and then you earn badges also on that, which you can put onto your profile, like, hey, I have completed Cloud Practitioner, this is the badge I got, this is a free one. Then some of them are into your paid version, so it depends what you are looking for. So this is also a good place to get started. Refer to Cloud Quest, and in Cloud Quest you would be able to find role specific games and you will earn your badges while you solve those problems. So rather than being a boring interface, it will give you a nice interface where you will interact with characters, you will have your own city, within city you will perform various operations. It gives you a feel like you are performing some real life solution to your customer. So that's all you could do from Skill Builder also, and check for Cloud Quest in that particular case. All right. So hopefully you have now aware about what you can do to practice. Free tier is the best thing to get started. If you cannot be disciplined enough or you cannot maintain or manage things, go for sandboxes. And whether it is a sandbox or a free tier account, try to do projects in that by which you would be leveraging and earning badges. Plus you would be enhancing your learning so that you can answer interview question if they arise. Okay. Any questions so far? I'll pause here to see if anybody has any question, any doubts, any confusion so far. quite audience here. I'm not sure if you are following along or it is too much, or if you have any question, feel free to put that information into the chat. And even afterwards, if you want to reach out, feel free to put messages on LinkedIn, and I would be happy to help you out in case required. Okay, while we are here, I can provide information about one more program which we run, that is called Become a Solutions Architect. This is a free program I run with few of my colleagues in AWS. So in case you want to join, feel free. We are starting next batch from the next Saturday. So from 5th October, we are starting a batch which is completely free. We would be having Saturday sessions every Saturday, 2 hours. And what we will be focusing on this time, AI practitioner, artificial intelligence practitioner certification from AWS, and will help people in mastering behavioral skill so that they can pass interview or they can excel in their career as they move forward. So this is a free program which is called Become a Solution Architect. There is a registration form, you fill it up, and then you would be invited to a YouTube live channel where you would be able to go through program, interact it. And if you see here, we have run 6 batches so far. Here you should be able to see the list of playlist and then other information, and within that you would be able to see a recording from previous session, just to give you an idea like what kind of things would be covered. Like here we covered about cloud, then S3, then EC2. All these component is what we have covered here. It's a good point. It's a good way to communicate with people, to create your network and build your own branding by completing projects or completing these boot camps as we run them for free. So these are some of the things which you can use to practice and learn. So first acquire knowledge and start practicing it to retain that knowledge for a longer period. Third thing I would say that you should be networking. In every career, networking plays an important aspect, and in IT it is especially important. You may be able to meet two people either on LinkedIn, or you may be able to meet them on events. So anytime you get an opportunity, most of the events are free apart from some paid event, and even if they are paid, there is very less prices on that. So as much as you can attend, feel free to go to event, attend, network people, meet with them, share your understanding, ask question, tell them that you are interested, tell them what you have done so far, tell them the challenges you have faced, and probably it would build a healthy bond which you can leverage afterward. Maybe they can refer you to a profile, or they can refer you to a job post, or they can guide you for your next career step. So events are important. Lots of free events keep on happening. So check that into your city, and that should be good way for you to network in your environment. Networking will be really important because you would be able to then leverage that network to get a new job, or to get some knowledge, or maybe to connect to potential employers or potential recruiters. So go ahead and do that. Now another Sorry everyone, I got disconnected, but I'm back now. Let me know if you can hear me. I'll quickly share my screen and I'll talk a little bit more on the network side.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So you could perform networking into LinkedIn. So what you may do that, let's say you want to become a solution architect, or you want to become a software developer, or you want to become a project manager, or you want to become a systems operations manager, whatever. So look for these people on LinkedIn and look for those companies where you want to go for, where you want to build your career, or where you want to join. Now, let's say I want to become a solution architect. I may find someone on LinkedIn. I may send them a LinkedIn request, and then probably I could get started with that. Another suggestion I would give you, that don't randomly reach out to people and say, hey, I need your 1 hour and I need this and that. Nobody has that much of time. So be little diligent. Maybe you start communicating initially, you build that bond, maybe you start liking their post, maybe you appreciate what they do, maybe you perform some comment on their post, and afterward, once they start noticing you, you could then reach out to them, because not everyone would be receptive to a random person coming to me and saying, Ashish, need 1 hour from you. Probably I would not have that much of time available. But if I know that person, if I have interacted with that person before, probably I would be more inclined toward giving the time and helping them out in case needed. So networking plays an important role. and you do not need to just be receptive. What you could do, you could start sharing your stuff also. So you completed a project, put it on LinkedIn. Even if it is a small project where you just created a website or you created a S3 bucket, no problem in that. Whatever you learned, send that information on internet, put that as a post, maybe publish into a blog post, maybe let people know what you are doing. So it gives you exposure on how you are doing and learning things, which can be highlighted by your friends, your colleagues, your potential employer, or a recruiter who could then reach out to you to get into a job, or maybe you could build that network to build your own startup if the need be. So sharing and commenting and then appreciating other people is very important to build your network. Once you start appreciating others, and if you publish a post, they would start also appreciating your efforts. So whatever small, complicated you have done, if you feel it is very small, nobody would be bothered about it. Don't think like that. Even if you have done a very small thing, maybe somebody has still not done that, and maybe your post will encourage them to also perform the same thing and then get started with their cloud journey. So whatever you have done, share it. Follow people which you admire, follow people who you want to become like, companies which you want to become like, and networking is a good way to also be aware about event which you can leverage to learn about lots and lots of other stuff. So that's all which I wanted to cover. So just to summarize, three things. First is learning, second is practicing, and third is networking. Once you have done these three things, probably you will be set for a right career. And if I can be of any help in your cloud career journey, let me know. I would be happy to